to start the little bluegill creeper, we're just going to take our hook, and this is a size 12, and it's a scud style curved back. And I've already squeezed the barb down on this. So to put the bead on, I like to hold them by the eye of the hook so the point is up like that. Then instead of having beads out all over the table, I'd like to just reach in the bag with my tweezers and grab one. Keeps them from rolling all over the table, going on the floor and everything. If you hold the hook point up and you have tweezers where you can see the hole through the middle of the bead, just a simple matter now of just sliding that hole right down over the point of the hook and letting go like that, and that one's ready to go. And I'm using hooks and beads by Togan Enterprises up in Canada. They're one of my favorite people to get beads and hooks from. They have all kinds of goodies for fly tires. Next we'll put our hook in the vise. Now I'm using 8/0 rusty brown unithread, and I'm just going to cover the hook shank with thread. And I want to go quite a ways back on this. I want to be back into the bend of the hook a ways, because you want this fly to swim with kind of an undulating motion. And it's a real simple, quick fly to tie, so if you lose a lot of them when you're bluegill fishing down in the weeds and stuff, it doesn't matter, but you've got to get them down there in the weeds where the bluegill are living, especially during the summer. So the bead weight and the wire body will do that for us. The tail is rusty brown marabou, and I'm just going to take a little bit off the stem and pull it off. That's probably about twice what I really need, so I'm going to get rid of a little bit of that. Take about halfway out on it, I'm just going to break the ends off so I get kind of a fluffy looking tail section there. Lay that out on the hook shank and make a couple wraps over it and make sure it's right on top of the hook, and wrap down to where my thread start was, down the bend of the hook. Give that a nice little tail motion there when it swims. Then the only other material, and this is 30 weight copper wire, or 30 gauge copper wire. It's a fairly standard size. You can get it actually in electrical departments. And so to make this body even, so it isn't lumpy in the back where the wire starts, I'm going to start tying in the wire clear up here at the front. And I want it on top of the shank so it doesn't weight the fly to one side or the other. And if you watched my videos on tying woolly buggers and woolly worms, you know I like to hold material up so it stays right down the back of the shank as I wrap over it. You just let the thread slide, in this case, down the wire, and it stays nice and tight, wraps together of thread, and also goes right down to the last one and stays on top of the wire, or on top of the shank. So after we've got that done, we'll just run back up to the front, set the thread out to the side. Then it's just a matter of very close wraps. And we want to start and cover everything we've done in the back end of the fly there with wraps of wire. And just go wrap to wrap right up to the front. And when we get to the front, we're going to hide the end of the wire behind the bead, so it's not sticking out and bothering people or fish or getting hung up on the bottom. So there's only about one more width of wire there. I'm going to go ahead and make that and come up on the side closest to me. I'm going to cross it with my thread. So I've got it crossed over, make a few wraps there. Then I'm going to use my wire nippers, and I'm going to go right in close to where I can nip that wire off. And that just leaves a little tag sticking up there. And I'm just going to use anything, wire, pliers, scissors, anything I can. And I'm just going to take that and I'm going to finish tucking that wire right in close behind the bead. Like that. So when I wrap over a few more times, it'll cover that point up so it's not getting hung up in the weeds and things on the bottom, or sticking in the fingers when you're taking it out of a fish. And a couple half hitches. Flip our thread. I'm just going to add a little bit of cement on the thread. Now, it's something that wouldn't hurt if you're so inclined, is to put a little bit of lacquer or your favorite finish over the wire. It'll keep it from tarnishing if you fish the fly and don't lose it or anything, and put it back on your vest or back in your fly box. Next time you go to get it out, it'll still have that shiny copper appearance. So by tying it on the arch shank with the tail coming off a little bit into the bend of the hook. When you strip this slowly, that fly will swim in a little undulating motion that bluegills just seem to find irresistible. And so that is a finished bluegill creeper.